PBs lately. I know Sneaky's someone who's been getting PBs left and right, so I'm really excited to see if we can see somebody pull out something amazing.
We have Sneaky getting started here, and it's gonna get synced up here, hopefully.
But yeah, we are off. As I said, once we get all synced up, you'll see that there's not too much of nobody's gonna really taking a lead here in the prologue. So once we get into city, that we might start seeing somebody take the lead.
One thing to point out is that language has no effect on the time because you skip the cutscenes.
Did Shockkolate? Okay, Shockkolate dying in the prologue, making me eat my words that no one's gonna take the lead in the prologue. I'm sorry.
Usually, you don't see any lead changes because you normally don't die. Oh, that's really unfortunate.
I can say I have done that before.
I mean, it's happened to the best of us.
So Sneaky moving on here into Chapter 1, the city. Now has access to his dash, so he can move a lot faster. And with that, we're going to be having access to a lot cooler movement. The one thing you're going to be noticing a lot here in Chapter 1 is the wall bounce technique and the hyper dash. So the wall bounce is where if you dash against a wall and then you jump, you can get a massive vertical boost of speed into the air. And you'll also be doing the hyper dash. So Diamond, do you want to kind of talk about what the hyper dash is?
So the hyper dash is so you dash at the ground and then you jump. It conserves your speed, so you don't get very much height off of it, but you do get a lot of horizontal speed. Right,
so yeah, you're going to be seeing these runners using a hyper dash as much as possible. Anywhere there's flat ground, you can be doing hyper dashing to try and just get a little extra speed. Both runners seem to be doing pretty well here in the city. Anywhere Sneaky or Shockolate's taking a death, the other's kind of doing the same, so nobody's really taken off here.
So, if you jump late enough after a hyper, you can retain your dash, and this is called an extended hyper. We will see that actually used quite a bit here in the first chapter, and a lot coming up in later chapters. What Chocolate did there was a bunch of neutral jumps, where you jump without holding. You jump off a wall without holding any of the buttons, and then you hold back towards the wall. It allows you to infinitely gain height without using any stamina up.
Yeah, neutral jumps are very useful, especially in panic situations where you don't have the stamina. You can kind of get up any wall, even if it's a little slow at times. Moving on here.
Going that dashless berry.
Exactly. So, moving here into Chapter 2, our runners are now going to be having access to the dream blocks, which are these space-looking squares everywhere, where whenever you dash into a dream block, it will carry your momentum infinitely in that direction until the end of the block.
Or until you hit a wall, in which case you die.
Which is very unfortunate. Hopefully we don't see that. But the other things you can kind of do with dream blocks is when you're leaving a dream block, you can do different things like jump, or if you're really crazy, you can do a hyper dash out of a dream block just to give you a little bit extra speed and momentum.
We won't really be seeing that until much later, though, because you'll find out later. I'm not going to spoil it.
Sneaky finishing up the battle-in section of Chapter 2. Really made quick work of Chapter 2. It's really well done on his part. I know from talking to Sneaky in the past, he has a lot of concern about his movement here in the end, so It looks like he's definitely been doing some practice with it because it looks a lot smoother.
Despite the fact that you can't die, this part is incredibly hard to optimize just because like there's so many ledges and springs that can just completely kill your momentum.
Yeah, it's amazing that some of the most difficult parts of movement throughout this run are the parts where there's nothing to get in your way but walls.
Mm-hmm.
So Sneaky now moving into chapter 3. We have a bunch more stuff introduced here. The first thing you might notice...
Shockkolate with that very unfortunate death.
It's definitely going to cost him a little bit of time there. But as I was saying, we now have introduced to, as you'll see on Sneaky's screen, these creatures moving about in these cycles, which are the dust bunnies, which on contact will kill you. And as I said, they're moving in a cycle pattern whenever you enter the room. So the runners are going to have to be doing different strats to kind of get around those creatures without taking any unnecessary deaths. What could be really interesting about Chapter 3, seeing as now both runners are moving into it, is with the way a lot of these rooms work and the different cycles, a lot of runners have a lot of different ways to handle a lot of these rooms. It's kind of less about the one way to do it and more about what you're most comfortable with. Especially since if you die, the cycles change of the dust bunnies and the way they move, and so it's interesting sometimes to see different runners have different strategies. So definitely don't take your eye off either runner here.
Yeah.
So Sneaky still maintaining a nice lead here, starting the huge mess section of Chapter 3. The section he just got out of can be kind of an annoying section with, again, all the obstacles you have to deal with moving about the screen. But he's going to be moving around here, hitting these 3 buttons to try and clear up the area. Very nice spike jump by Sneaky there, utilizing the kind of way the game works, that if you're facing the same direction as a spike, you're not killed by it, so you can kind of get a nice wall jump off there to skip that room.
Yeah, it's very misleading with the name, because you don't actually jump off the spikes, like the name implies.
From what I've seen on Shockolate's screen, having a pretty good start to Chapter 3 here. So still I don't think gaining any time on Sneaky. He's just making real quick work of this Chapter 2 and 3 here. Playing really well so far. So Sneaky now finishing up this section of Chapter 3 is going to be moving towards the end of the chapter here, where he's going to have to fight the very annoying boss fight of Oshiro. So we'll be getting to that in a little bit. So you can definitely see on Sneaky's side of the screen there, and throughout the entire chapter, that the wall bounce technique is very highly used, and clearing a lot of these rooms just a little bit faster. Oh, Sneaky having a bit of trouble here in this room. This is a very, very tricky room, requiring you to do 4 hyper dashes in a row on those platforms.
You got a second try. Well, playing it safe a little. Don't blame him for that.
Not at all. That very last one can be really tricky with the way that the dust bunnies are moving around the screen. Sometimes it's much better to just stop for a second and realize where you are because you've been going so fast than to run your head into them a second time. So, I was just about to say, do you want to kind of talk about Oshiro here?
Yeah, so, he just wants us to stay at the hotel, but we have a mountain to climb. So Battleline insulted him in the hotel, so he is now mad at us and he's going to try and kill us. He tracks your vertical position and shoots a laser bolt when he's about to charge at you. Not really much else to say.
Yeah, Oshiro is pretty straightforward as it goes. One thing to note here, especially for this race, is these Oshiro rooms are some of the longest in Chapter 3. So,
unfortunately, because they're long and very hard.
Absolutely, but wow, sneaky. I don't think he took a single death. That's very nice. I was just about to say that the death really could give shockkolate the chance to catch up, but Sneaky's just blowing through the chapter.
Did you see what the IL time was for that?
I didn't see, unfortunately.
Anyone in chat see it?
That would have been really nice, though. I mean, only 4 deaths. That's really good for Chapter 3. Sneaky. Now, moving into Chapter 4, where we're going to have to deal with the wind mechanic now, which, as you're now seeing on the screen, will be flowing in certain directions to either give you speed moving throughout the room or hinder your speed. Luckily, with different techniques like the hyper dash, we can kind of negate the effects of the wind, but it's still going to be a bother when trying to maneuver through tight spaces.
So then you've also got the bubbles, which are basically an extra dash.
So we have shockkolate here on the right, taking his attempt at Oshiro. We'll see if he can make it look as beautiful as Sneaky did. Sometimes you can really tell what a fast Oshiro room looks like just by the fact that you can clear the room before he even has a chance to come after you.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a nice little move on shockolate's part. Trying to, you can kind of skip getting, having to wait for Oshiro there, and he made it just perfectly that he got to bop him on the head. So yeah, Chapter 4 really, with how this wind works, really opens up for some interesting strategies and ways you can handle rooms. Sneaky having a little bit of trouble with this wave dash here, but manages to handle it pretty well. That's something I don't think we really talked about, is the terminology of wave dash. It's basically a hyper dash that you start in the air. So you're going to start in the air and then point downwards into the ground and do a dash and jump. Sometimes it's useful in areas where you don't, like Sneaky earlier was trying to do it off the post of that thing. You just don't have the space to do a full hyper dash there. Oh, Sneaky, I'm going to take a little retry there, but I mean, no big deal. He's still really tearing through this game so far.
Yeah. Now we have the heavy wind section, which is basically the wind section, but you pretty much have to dash to be able to move at all.
Yeah, and just like Chapter 3, we have some much longer rooms here, so deaths can definitely cost you a lot of time, give your opponent a chance to either catch up or even take a further lead. We also have these snowballs here, which will come at you whenever they enter the screen at your Y position and go straight across the screen. And if you run into one, you will take a death. So, but you can also land on top of them to jump off of them and gain your dash back.
So they're basically mini Oshiros that don't give you any more.
Exactly, and they're just as annoying.
A very clean last room from Sneaky.
Absolutely, that whole huge wind, large wind section was just very well done by him. Those snowballs with the fast wind can be really hard to manage.
Nice auto scholar skip by Shockkolate there.
So now we have Sneaky moving into Mirror Temple here. Again, lots of new mechanics here. And this is what I'm excited to see because I know Sneaky's been doing a lot of work with Mirror Temple, a lot of IL practice, so we'll see if that pays off for him. But the first thing you'll see is these red bubbles. So you kind of want to talk about what the red bubbles are, Diamond?
So the red bubbles, they work close. They work similarly to the green bubbles. That they like refresh your dash and move, but unlike the green bubbles, they don't stop after a certain amount of distance, but instead you have to either hit a wall or dash out of them.
Right, and the other things we have, which we just saw, are these dash platforms, which are these platforms that sit in one spot, but when you dash, they move to another. So you'll be seeing our runners utilizing those and trying to gain some momentum off them at points to gain a lot of speed or clear rooms a lot faster, sometimes even just skip them outright.
Mm-hmm.
So in Sneaky side, we're going to be introduced to the Seeker enemy, and really kind of an annoying enemy to deal with. But it's going to be this creature that, when gains sight of you, will chase after you and try and attack you and kill you. And when it's does not have sight of you, it will be the blue color, and it will kind of just slowly gravitate towards your position, a little less aggressively. Kind of like everything else we talked about that attacks you, you can hit it on the head to jump off it and gain your dash back, which sometimes will play into some of the rooms coming up. This is another one of those sections, the Seeker section. It's another one of those sections that a lot of runners have a lot of different ways of handling these rooms. It's another area that's more of whatever you're comfortable with. Small death on Sneaky side, but nothing that's going to lose him a lot of time. Ooh, missing the door key there. Going to have to go back for it. Over on the right here, we have Shockkolate handling the fast wind section of Chapter 4. Ooh, getting a nice bop on that one snowball there. I thought for sure that was going to get him. Yeah, the snowballs can be really strange in Chapter 4. Sometimes I feel like, you feel like you're really clear of them and you still die. And other times you think you run right into it and you get a nice little bop. So Sneaky going in for the large skip of Chapter 5 here. Kind of doing a reverse dash. He gets it first try. Very well done. As we were
search skip.
Exactly.
Saves, what, 3 minutes?
A very large amount of time. I'm not sure the exact amount, but it sounds about right.
I don't think anybody really knows. Because we all do search skip.
But yeah, as we were saying before with the, as I said, the term reverse dash, any of the stuff, the hyper dash, just regular dash, you can do it in the reverse direction. if there's just not enough space for you to do it in the kind of area you're in. All right, so Sneaky starting everyone's favorite Theo section. Do you kind of want to talk about what's going on here in the Theo section?
So in the Theo section, you have to escort Theo to the end of the level, and you cannot dash while holding him. So to counter that, we throw him, dash, and then grab him, which will carry our momentum while carrying Theo.
Yeah, the Theo section can be kind of annoying to deal with. It definitely takes a lot of time and practice to understand how the movement works with Theo and to move him optimally through these rooms, and the Seekers do not make it any easier.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, Sneaky having a little difficulty in this last room. This one could be a very tricky room. I know some people like to go up and over. Sneaky went for the method there where you just kind of take the dash block upwards.
$19.05.
Yeah, 526 Mirror Temple. Not anything to laugh at. That's a good time.
Yeah.
Moving into
Ooh, chocolate with that pretty unfortunate death there.
yeah, just every small death can kind of lose you a decent amount of time in these long rooms. We have Sneaky starting chapter 6 here. We're gonna see if he goes for he's not going for Lake Skip.
No. I don't blame him. It's
no, I don't blame him at all.
Saves like 4 seconds. If you get a first try.
Sneaky's a good friend of mine. I just like harassing him when he doesn't go for Lake Skip. We're good friends with Scrublord as well, who, when I was learning the game, always convinced me that Lake Skip is free. It was like one of the first skips he made me learn. So now I harass Sneaky for not doing it. But no, yeah, Lake Skip, it doesn't save you a whole ton of time, but if you're not comfortable with it, you can just lose so much time trying it over and over and over again. So in a race setting, I would blame anyone for not going for it.
And then the people that do go for it are insane.
So Chocolate here on the right, starting his Seeker section of Chapter 5. So we'll see if he can handle some of these rooms without taking too many small deaths. So far, he's doing pretty well. So something I'm kind of already noticing, and you'll probably notice this again, Chocolate going for some couple different strats that Sneaky was going for. It's always interesting to see people going for different ways to handle these rooms. This is where I've seen more ways to do these rooms than I know how to deal with at this point.
Yeah.
So Sneaky just flying through Chapter 6 here. I don't know if we want to kind of just talk about the different things going on. We have these feathers, we have these bumpers that he's smacking off of.
So, the feathers are different than anything else in the game in that they work on a 360 degree. But what am I looking for? Like 360 degree controls, I guess. So, most runners will run on D-pad, with some running on analog or keyboard. So runners that run on D-pad will generally switch to analog for the feathers, because if you move more than 13 degrees, it is slower, because I don't know why.
Yeah, it can be kind of difficult to get used to playing, 90% of the game on D-pad and then switching back and forth from D-pad to analog here. We're gonna see if Sneaky goes for a battle and boost here, and he does. Ooh!
Oh,
Does die coming out of it,
wow.
but that's no big deal. Handles it nicely.
I definitely haven't seen anyone die there.
But yeah, just utilizing, the momentum you can get off of that moving block there, you can get an insane amount of momentum going into that area.
So, speaking about the moving blocks, those are called crusher blocks, or as referred to by the community, Kevin blocks, in honor of the guy who made the sound. They will go infinitely in a direction until they hit a wall, and then you can boost off of them. So kind of like red bubbles.
Yeah, so we now have this the battle and fight going on in Sneaky's side of the screen here. It's kind of going screen to screen, chasing after Battling, kind of the reverse of how it went in Chapter 2.
So, yeah, and the final mechanic of this chapter is the bumpers. You bounce off of them, and if on the last frame you hold away from them, you will get double the boost. Not much else to say about them.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to say about the bumpers other than, you can just, again, with the Kevin blocks, the bumpers, you can get a lot of momentum stored up in this chapter using these different mechanics. Ooh, taking a small retry there. I was just about to say how Sneaky was making really good work of this battle and fight. Even just the thought of it was the commentator's curse.
I mean,
he's still doing really well.
Now, this is the only text that we're forced to read in the game. So, in the second part of the battle line fight, she gains telekinesis and starts moving blocks around.
Yeah, so these moving blocks can kind of change the way you move about the rooms, because you can get a lot of height off of them when they're at their peak, or if they're moving left and right, you can get a lot of forward momentum if you, do certain things and do your movement correctly. Shockkolate finishing up his chapter 5, and he's going to be on Sneaky's tail here, moving into chapter 6. So Sneaky's doesn't have too much left here. Chapter 6 will be moving into Summit very shortly.
Sneaky now finished with the battle line fight, and now leveling up and gaining a second dash, because Madeline and Battleline are now working together.
Yeah, this second dash can really makes the movement in the final chapter really interesting. The different ways you can do hyper dashes and wave dashes and do a lot more riskier movement now that we have access to it.
2602. You want to remember that? Also, Chocolate going for lake skip. Oh, yeah. Brad, did I say it? It stops going. Went for lake skip, but it didn't work out. So now, over on Sneaky's screen, we have the summit. You start off at 0 meters, which is reflection, and it'll basically just summarize the chapters, starting with 6 and then going 1 through 5, until we reach 3,000 meters, where you'll start like the main summit portion.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. For a minute there, I was doing a little bit of checking on our runners' times. It looks like at the entry of Summit, Sneaky was 30 seconds behind his PB. So let's see. Gets an incredible Summit here. I'm not sure if we'll see a PB from inside, but you never know. Might have been doing some secret Summit practice. He's gonna blow us out of the water here.
Do you know what his summit IL is?
That I do not know.
You just have to kind of click to the end of the run.
Yeah.
So.
I have Shockkolate splits up right now. I'm trying to see how he's doing on his side. We might... Again, I'm not 100% sure on his... Actually, on his PB.
So, the little purple orbs that you see, that symbolizes where battle line is. So, you want to dash into those, and she will throw you up and refresh your dash until you get to the last one, where she will throw you up to the next section.
Yeah, so we're just kind of moving through all the different chapters here, but now that we have that dash, you know, it's reliving the chapters, but in a whole different way.
So now it's viable to hyper dash out of the dream blocks because you have a second dash. I'm not sure if we're going to see that here. It's a very tight window to do.
Yeah,
so
it is a very difficult thing to do. Sneaky make a really short section though.
So compared to jumping out of them, which is very, very easy to do, hypering out of them is I don't know the frame window, but it's very small. So 1,500 meters, probably the most hated part of the run, because the rooms are so long, and they're really hard.
Yeah, if you didn't like Chapter 3, you have to relive it again, sadly. I think you had a really close call in that previous room, but
yeah,
made it through very fine. Small death on Sneaky side, nothing too big to worry about.
Chocolate now making his way towards battle line. Here's some developer intended skips. Grabbing the checkpoint that you would normally skip if you went for it. Either by just doing the first 2 skips and then going normally, or by doing all 3 skips in a row. So, it's definitely worth it to grab that checkpoint if you're not the best at the skip, because dying without grabbing it sends you all the way back to the top of the room, which loses a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm still a guy who grabs that checkpoint, so I fully respect everybody who skips that checkpoint.
Ooh, going for battle line boost. Ooh, going.
Jumped up a little too early there, sadly.
Yeah.
Sneaky nailing a very nice skip there on the left. Finish it. I shouldn't have even spoke. I don't know why I even spoke. I cursed him.
No.
I figured when he got the first jump, he was done. There we go. Makes it look very beautiful the second time, now that I didn't jinx him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that skip, that could be a very challenging skip. Not a fun one to do.
Finishing up at the 2,000 meters, going into the 2,500 meters. Chocolate is about, I'm not sure, nearing halfway, I think.
Yeah, he's just about there. I don't know what happened on Sneaky's side, but if I'm seeing things correctly, he looks to be ahead of his PB.
Oh, nice.
Possibly. It'd be very close, but possibly on a sub 37 pace here.
Cool.
That would be really cool to see on his side. Yeah, I had accidentally left his PB running on another window, and I looked back and I was like, wait, are we... I saw it was still in chapter 4 when he was moving in. I was like, wait a minute, are we ahead? What happened?
Nice. Going for door skip. It's a very big thing in the community. People say that it saves a whole 9 years, but it actually only saves a second.
Hey, well, Sneaky just saved that second. Nailed it beautifully.
Yeah.
If he PBs by 1 second tonight, we can point it towards door skip.
Yep. And people say it's not worth it.
Chocolate here moving into the second half of the battle and fight.
I was just about to say that. So Sneaky has how long the PB? Like 4 minutes?
Yes, his PB as on the leaderboards is a 37:34. I'm pretty sure that's up to date.
Well, hopefully it is, because
yeah, 37:34
could
be his.
I don't want to say anything too soon, though.
Exactly. But yeah, so Sneaky moving through this section.
Skip.
Exactly. We're getting a recurrence of the chapter 4 wind, but this time instead of left and right, we are getting up and down, updrafts and downdrafts. So it's definitely changing the way you handle some of these rooms. It's where in these downdrafts, the wall bounce really gives you a big edge.
Chocolate finishing up the battle line fight, and now leveling up.
Chocolate having a little difficulty with this movement here. As we kind of said back in chapter 2, some of the most difficult screens can be the one where nothing can kill you.
Yep. Oh, unfortunate death right there. Oh, another one.
Yeah, some of these, having a little bit of difficulty here.
There we go.
Yeah, you wonder if he's looking at his splits and knows that he was ahead going into Summit or not. Might be missing with how he's playing.
Nice. Now we have both runners in chapter 7 here.
Yeah, what can be kind of stressful about chapter 7 is some of these flags can be very few and far between, and so a death on the wrong flag can really set you back.
And then we skip some of the flags, so it can get even more stressful. Except for flag 5, because screen checkpoint.
It's still looking like Sneaky's a good 20-25 seconds ahead of his PB, so he's still holding strong. His PB has an 11-minute summit, so that's what we're looking at here. See if he can finish up here.
So, like
in the next minute.
Close to 11 flat?
Yeah. So we'll see if he can finish up in the next minute and finish it up.
It's on the last 3 checkpoints. Oh no.
That's an unfortunate death right there. No pressure, Sneaky. All eyes are on you right now. And it looks like he's gonna do it. Not the sub 37, sadly. Unless he does the classic retry at the top of the mountain. And Sneaky is finishing up his run. A 37.08. GG to him. That is a very nice.
Yeah. Indeed.
So we have Shockkolate here on the right, finishing up Summit. He's making nice work so far. Yeah, some of these rooms that Shockkolate just left, the Battling rooms, those can be very stressful rooms in Summit because they are they're very long rooms with no checkpoints in them. So taking a death in those can cost you a good amount of time.
Especially in this 1500 one.
This one, yeah, the one in the 1500 is the worst.
Just everything about 1500 is awful.
It's pretty bad.
I think every runner of this game can agree that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's usually a big sigh of relief when you finally make it out of this section.
And if you thought 1500 A side was bad, the 1500 B side.
So far, though, Shockolate's doing really good for the 1500 section. Got most of the more difficult rooms out of the way with no problem. Chocolate getting a nice wall jump off of there. Something we didn't get to see when Sneaky's run through here. He kind of used the screen transition to get him up into this room. It's just an alternative way you can get through here. Chocolate having a little bit of difficulty in this room. This can be a really challenging room. Nice bop on the snowball there, right, Chocolate?
Yeah.
Ooh, going for... I didn't think he was going for that. I think that was... It looked kind of improv. He was halfway... Oh, Andy's... Oh, I was going to say, Andy was going for the skip.
He's probably going to go for it again.
He's impressed me with some of these strats he's going for.
Oh, I didn't get that descended there.
At this rate, I'm expecting a door skip.
Same.
There we go. I shouldn't have said anything. I cursed Sneaky last time. I cursed him again. I did the same thing.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't opted to just ride the block, but he is... Oh, never mind. There he goes. He's going to ride the block.
That's what he's
I was going to say, he was committed.
You're so close this first few times.
Oh yeah, he had some very close calls there. That's, I mean, props to him. That's an insanely hard trick to do.
Yeah.
I know people I talk to that go for that with nice times. They've told me they're like, I don't want to go for it. I never want to, but I have to.
Yeah, that's the deal with like all of the really hard tricks. Like, there's usually a trick like that in every game. Keyword usually.
Yeah. Alright, Chocolate, almost up to the final area summits. Just get through 2500 M. Other than the possible door skip and the key skip you have to do, there's nothing usually too challenging about this section of Summit.
Ooh. Not really sure what happened there. Ooh. Fifth tries to charm, if I count it correctly.
Ooh, close call there, but you know, he saved it on that moving block. We are going to see a door skip.
Nice.
And he gets it. Very nice job. Both runners made that look trivial.
Ooh, just barely missing that. Oh no, not again.
Yeah, that trying to utilize that wall bounce can be really tricky. The window's really tight there. Opting not to go for it this time, probably a really good call.
Yeah.
Alright, here we are, the final ascent for Chocolate. Let's see if we can finish it out strong here. And then we will see if either one of our runners wants to come in for an interview once Chocolate has finished up.
Yep. Unfortunate death there.
Yeah, as you can see, this this downdraft can really mess with you. Just what you'd think would be two nice horizontal dashes can just say no, you're going right into those spikes.
Uh-huh. I know that too well.
Ooh, going for a little bit of a risky move there on that flag. You can kind of skip that wall if you've got enough height. I see Shock going for it. Shock has impressed me throughout this run with how many difficult tricks he's been going for and nailing for a lot of them. We're not having his gonna turn around. Oh, taking the death. I thought he was gonna make that.
Just a little too high on that one.
Is he gonna? No. Just had a little too much momentum going the other way, starting that.
The deaths on the longer checkpoints are really, really, like, they can really, like, I don't know, they can, like, if you die once, you're probably going to die more, like, because you're frustrated.
Yeah, sometimes each death can kind of get into your head and really mess with you. Shock taking checkpoint 10 there and getting immediate value. Yeah, some of these flags like you see there with flag 8, it is the same amount of distance to just skip flag 8 than to get it, so you usually see most runners opt to go around it.
And we skip flag 5 because the screen transition is also a checkpoint, so.
Yeah, Shock kind of landed there. I thought he was going to get flag 5. I was like, whoa, we're in for a treat. Flag 5 gets some attention today. Wow, I unfortunately dying afterwards, but I was very surprised he caught that feather.
Oh no. Unfortunate death.
Yeah, as you said before, each death can kind of get into your head and mess with you, especially towards the end here, as you know the climb of the mountain is exhausting.
Very.
Finishing up here, flag 2-1. Flag 2-1 can be difficult, but nails it first try. Very well done. Finishing out strong here. Still going to be a sub 50, so that's very nice. With his PB being like a higher 47, the sub 50 is really good.
Yeah.
And there we go. Shockkolate finishes up with a 49-48. GG.
GG.
All right. So we're going to see if we can get our two runners in here to kind of talk about how their race went. But yeah, excellent job to both our runners. Very fun race to watch. Both had some interesting strats and some high points, some low points. It was a good roller coaster throughout the run. Alright, Sneaky said he will be joining us. Well, if we can get him in here.
Try and look at Sneaky's ILs here.
Sorry, I had to
Can't really
get
see
him
it.
get him a quick invite.
Oh.
All right, we are joined here by Sneaky. How are you doing, Sneaky?
Looks like his mic isn't working very well.
Let's see if we can get that situated here in a second.
Hello? Hey! Oh,
Hey, there he is. Hello, Sneaky. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
Doing well. So, I guess first thing I'd say is that's a PB for you, right?
Yeah, that is
That was-
26 seconds.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was very surprised. Going, I don't know what it was, chapter 5, chapter 6. I looked and I was like, he's about 20 seconds back. I don't think, I don't know if we're going to be seeing a PB from our runners today. And then I left your PB running on my one screen, and you got into Summit, and I was like, wait, he's ahead. Hang on a second.
Yeah, apparently I killed it at Reflection. I was like 31 seconds ahead because I guess my
Nice.
PB Reflection was bad. And yeah, like everything, it was weird. All my times were just matching up with what I remember them being. And yeah, Reflection I took off apparently.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I cursed both of you at the auto scroller skip in Summit.
No, I'm like not disappointed with the run, but if I could redo Summit, I would in a second. I think from like that point on was just kind of actually even that part I saved so much time on 2500. It doesn't make any sense.
Wow.
And my 3000 was surprisingly good, and then my end was just no. It was just like a big stopgap.
Yeah, overall though, seems like you played really well. I mean, I know a lot of when we were watching like your chapter 2 and chapter 3 were really well. I know you've been doing a lot of practice with Mirror Temple lately, so 525. I don't know if that's in range of what you were looking for.
It's anything under 530 I'm trying to take right now. So,
Wow.
Oh, that's that was fun. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, so you're taking another win. You have how many matches left? 3?
Yeah, I have 3 left.
So you're gonna try and push for that sub 37. How are you looking with your matchups? Your last 3 matchups, feeling pretty good about them, or are they gonna be a little more challenging?
One of them is going to be extremely challenging because Glow is like top 10, I think, or top 12.
Wow.
So that's going to be rough. I mean, I'll do my best, but I'm not looking to win that one. I'm just looking to do what I
You
can.
got it.
Thank you. And then
Good
the
luck.
other 2 can probably go either way, but I'm looking to win them. I think my my next match is on Friday.
Nice. We'll be looking forward to that and get another PB.
Hopefully.
But yeah, Diamond, do you have any other questions for Sneaky?
Nope.
All right, then we will kind of wrap it up here. I was just trying to really quickly pull up and see when our next Celeste match is. right, so thank you, Sneaky. GG on your PB.
Thank you.
So that will be all for us. I think we're going to wrap it up here. If you're looking for more Celeste, we have another match over on Speed Gaming 3 at 10 o'clock tonight between Ranubris and Yoshi Pro. So definitely make sure to check that out. Yoshi Pro is a really good runner of this game, so it should be a really good one to watch.
You go follow the runners, definitely, and maybe as commentators.
Yes, absolutely. Make sure to go follow our runners. They did an excellent. But yeah, I think that's gonna be all for us. So thanks for watching. Thank you, Speed Gaming, for having us. And yeah, hope we'll see everybody again at 10 o'clock tonight.
See ya.
Bye.